speaking of the standings, though, I want to talk a little bit about the Eastern Conference before we go. Boston has blown double-digit leads 3 times in the last week. 28 points the other night to the Nets. Double overtime loss to the Knicks where they blew a double-digit lead. And then it was the second night of a back-to-back. Tatum and Horford rested. Robert Williams was out. So they were without 3 of their 5 best players, but they're up 14 in Cleveland going to the fourth quarter. They got Grant Williams on the foul line with 0.8 seconds left. Even after they blow the 14-point lead, they got Grant Williams on the line, who's an 83% free throw shooter. He's got to make 1 free throw. Cavs have no timeouts, 0.8 of a second left. Donovan Mitchell comes and talks something into Grant Williams' ear. And then after the game, Donovan made a throwback. This was a shrewd throwback to 2006, when LeBron trash talked Gilbert Arenas into a miss. And he said,
that's great.
You remember that in the playoffs? He said, he said, if you miss this free throw, you're not going to get the ball back or it's over. I think if you miss this free throw, it's over. Gil missed a free throw and LeBron came down, hit Damon Jones, hit a baseline jumper, won the series. So Donovan did that throwback. Anyway, Grant Williams blows the 2 free throws. Just blows them. Just grade A choke. I don't know what else to say. I know Grant's had a rough go of it recently. Grade A choke. Misses 2 free throws. The point is, Boston has given away these games. After being in first place for basically 4 straight months, they are now 3 games behind the Bucks in the loss column. And this week, they play the Blazers at home on Wednesday. But then they leave for a 6-game road trip. Now, they obviously are an excellent team. They are the league's, if they're not the league's best road team, they're the second. I think they're the second. No, they're still the best road team. I have no doubt. I have no questions about their ability to win on the road, but I'm not expecting them to go 6-0. And Milwaukee's lost like once in like 6 weeks. My point is the difference between being the first seed and being the second seed in the Eastern Conference is enormous. And their inability to close out these games, despite playing so well, is in the process of biting them in the backside right now. So, Spears, I just want to know where you're at with the Celtics at the moment.
Stunned, confused, because they look, like, to your point, so great for most of the season, and seemed like as soon as we started talking about Jason Tatum for MVP, like the Celtics took a dip. Very, very confusing, and I thought Joe was probably the front runner for Coach of the Year too, up until recently. They need Robert Williams to be healthy there too. I think that's something that is important to their success defensively. I'm totally confused by them, but I guess typically every great team has this point in the season, right, where they go through this kind of malaise.
Yeah, obviously the difference between first and second is not just home court in the conference in the finals.
You don't want to see Philly right now,
right? Philly is. By the way, Philly's gone on the road and had a great road trip so far, and then obviously a potential home court. Last year, Game 7 was in Boston. Kirk, Game 7 was a difference making game.
Yeah, and they still needed to win Game 6 in Milwaukee, and credit to them, they were able to do that. But that was without Chris Middleton. I remember I was at that series and I told people who would listen to me, we're going to be back here for the next few years watching these 2 teams. They're so close. They're so good. You talk about Denver not getting respect as the number 1 seed in the West. Well, both of these teams have the respect of the rest of the Eastern Conference. I can promise you that. And I do think that you nailed it, Brian, that the key thing about this little mini slide and these leads they've blown is that relative position with the red hot Milwaukee Bucks, with one eye on a potential trip to the finals in May, fighting for the Eastern Conference Championship, because both of those gyms are very hard to win. And credit to both teams, they've both done it. But you want to have the 4 games at your place. And there's a huge game coming up at the end of March at Milwaukee, where we'll see where they are. I think this road trip that you alluded to, games at Atlanta to start, at Minnesota, at Portland, they're winnable, but they're also losable. At Sacramento, and Spears, that's my coach of the year, Mike Brown. All right, you're a friend of mine. But dude,
Agreed.
there's no room for error. The Celtics are fine. I'm not scared of it. But in terms of where they were 3 weeks ago, this has been a costly run of comeback losses against other Eastern Conference contenders. That's taken some of the scare out of teams like the Knicks, the Nets, and the Cavs, all contenders in the East, and all teams they might see again. The Cavs have now beaten them 3 times, as you know, Brian.
Yeah, 3 times in overtime, by the way. The Cavs are 7-0 in overtime this year. You know what? That is absolutely the Donovan Mitchell effect, because in most of those games, and last night he had 40. The 71-point game that he had was an overtime game.
Oh, one more point. You know, the best free throw trash talk of our lives, guys. Mailman doesn't deliver on Sunday.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
So shout out to Donovan Mitchell for making us all think about these great moments in free throw trash talk history.
Hey, well, are we at the point now where even with this number 1 seed, right? Should they fear for the Knicks? Are we there yet on the Knicks?
The Knicks are okay. So let me just say this about the Knicks. The Knicks are leaving. They play the Hornets tonight. I don't want to assume anything, but I think they got a good chance on that one. So they made.
Oh, the Garden's gonna be rocking, baby, in the playoffs. Oh.
Did you guys hear the double bang? The Mike Breen double bang. Last Friday in Miami. Julius Randle hits that shot to win after this just awful possession. They should have turned it over twice. And Mike Breen is calling the game for MSG, and he brought out the double bang for that. It was such a stunning. So anyway, the Knicks have had some things kind of fall their way a little bit recently. They have absolutely earned it. But they're going to be tested. They're going out west here. I think they play 7 of 9 on the road after the game against Charlotte. So, hey, if they keep streaking through this, it'll be impressive. I do think the Knicks are going to take a loss or two. That Cavs win, by the way, kept the Cavs a game and a half in front of New York.
Yeah.
Had the Celtics finished that off, they would have been a half game back.
Right.
Probably would have been in position to tie the Cavs Tuesday night with the win over the Hornets. So now when they go out west, they're at least going to be a game behind. But I wouldn't be excited about playing the Cavs or the Knicks, but I would rather play that than the 76ers.
Yeah.
And so that's just the reality of it. So I also wonder, Spears, Joe Mazzulla is a very intense guy. He has batted away any suggestion that there is any sort of issue there. But when you're a first-time head coach and you're going through the playoffs for the first time, and your team has in its memory banks that they have struggled at the end of games, that is a little hurdle to overcome, and that's getting built up right now.
Yeah,
so,
but they were in the finals last year. I just feel like this is a phase.
Point.
This is a phase. They'll be fine.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.